What's up, Digidestins? This is Kyle D, better known as RideMyAvatar, and today we are going to be going over none other than our basically what you should be grabbing right before BT-09. We have about roughly 2 to 3 weeks left before it actually hits us, and I want to make sure you get all the fancy cards you need. So let's dive into this video and talk about it. So you know the drill, we're going to break this down by colors, and we'll start off with red. We're going to go in color order. So first off, I think you should get yourself Digimon. Digimon is going to be beneficial in yellow hybrid. You got Gallantmon himself, X antibody. And then that's really just the two decks that he's going to be seen playing, just because red-yellow hybrid is going to be nuts. We have Agumon here for your, Black War Greymon and Red War Greymon of the X antibody persuasions. So make sure you have this card. Then you get Guillemon here. This Guillemon is straight facts for your Gallantmon deck of the X antibody persuasion. So definitely get yourself that card. This Guillemon, yes, this one's a little harder to get your hands on. It is like a $24 card. It's quite expensive, but you do have a shot on it today to get into the invite for the DC1, DC2, I mean. This one is straight up, has Guillemon and Lightning Joust as the promo. As your entry, it's an $80 entry, but it might be worth it for you to dive into it. Agumon here is when this Digimon attacks a player, it gets plus 2000 DP. This one is used in both the Black War Greymon and War Greymon X antibody decks. Guillemon here is for your War Greymon's, not War Greymon's, Gallantmon deck. So he's just there to help you warp into your Gallantmons as a second precaution, but it also has a draw function. Agumon, kind of just that generic hybrid game status. Definitely pick him up. Greymon here, both X antibody War Greymon and Black War Greymon kind of both use this card. So definitely pick him up. Growlmon, expect this to be for your straight up, Gallantmon X antibody. This is used in every red deck because there's not a moment you don't want a Greymon. Let's be honest. It's just going to see beneficial play. He's quite expensive. That's just what you're going to have to deal with. A Growlmon here, just a Gallantmon, X antibody. Always grab it. War Growlmon's just all around Gallantmon as well. Just benefits there as uniquely to the deck. War Growlmon from the starter deck. Definitely grab this because, again, it's worth getting cards that'll help Gallantmon proceed to win. And sometimes you just need that extra level of climbing up. So definitely grab it when you can. Then you have Avenge Kidmon here. This card is so if you are seeing a lot of Beelzestar, this is going to help you out. But it also has a security control deck that can actually play him consistently. So definitely pick him up if you have intentions to play the security control deck, or you're going to be playing a countermeasure to Beelzestar. So, that's all you... Beelzestar. So, Beelzestar. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing the name, but that's just what you're going to be using it for. Gallantmon's in here just for the Gallantmon X antibody. Then, same thing with this Gallantmon X antibody, very useful. Crimson Mode, very powerful card for the Gallantmon deck. Maybe a 1 or 2 a pickup. Outside of that, nothing too crazy. The rest of these are going to be quite cheap. Omnimon, straight up every deck that can splash, red or blue, will be playing this deck for their OTK potential because we are in an OTK format. So it's just good to have the Omnimon and make sure you get it. And then X antibody, just so you have a way of countering the OTK backlash. So what's really powerful about this is when your opponent's Digimon attacks, you may trash 2 cards from your Digi-Evolution cards to end the battle, to end the attack. So it's just really powerful, and you want to be able to negate all that nastiness that your opponent's going to be doing to you. So it's just good to have a way of getting there and preventing them from whacking you back and OTKing you. So blue and red really have it out with X antibody, and that's really important. A dedicated plan. If you're OTKing, you're playing this card. This card is basically in every OTK deck. I don't care what you say. This is mandatory. You're going to be buying this at drones Make sure you get this. This card will probably spike immensely because everybody's going to play it. Atomic Inferno. This is just straight up for red-yellow hybrid. Just so yellow the hybrid aspect of the yellow deck can actually apply a lot of pressure, especially if this hidden security, you're going to see this, and then you're just going to go off and kill them. Fire Rocket is really only in here for one deck and one deck only, and that is for your Armor Rush deck. It's Magnamon X Antibody. This deck will help you get your wins and W's that way. Fireball, this is straight up yellow hybrid support, just because that draw, or even just popping a 3000 DP very easily, just very powerful. Red-yellow is going to do stuff. Red Memory Boost, every red deck needs it. You're going to be needing Memory Boost across the board, so pick up Memory Boost for whatever color you're deciding to play. Lightning Joust, this is to help Gallantmon get that OTK win, and maybe some other decks just to get that OTK win. So definitely pick this up. Might be worth it your time. Tie, red Tie is just bay. You need to play him. There's no way you're not playing this card, and just pick it up. You're going to need it. Then you have Hero here. Hero's just really good to make your level 5s go higher. Mostly all red decks just to get that extra oomph power that you might need just to get over things. Just something to pick up. Make sure you get him. We have Takato. This is basically just for Gallantmon. Gallantmon X Antibody just swinging in Blitz the whole time. It's just nasty. So Tie is just straight up for your OTK decks. You know, as long as you don't have a dual color combination where it's red, blue, or anything like that, or mixing into the colors with your dual tamers, usually you're just going to splash in this Tie. This Tie lets you basically, it's in there for a 2-drop, go right into a dedicated plan. So this can be a 3-cost, get into a dedicated plan, shut off, and OTK out your opponent. That is just really what it's all in here for, and that's kind of what you're going to need it for. So if your deck is OTK in this format, red Tie and a dedicated plan if you do not have what you need. So we also have Nokia. Nokia is a white card, yes, and I know I have like Omnimon and X Antibody, but this one is just straight up Agumon support. In this list, in this format, with Black War Greymon, you kind of want to run Nokia in it. Some red Greymon lists with the X Antibody runs Nokia, but usually they are going with the cool boy. So, I mean, like, just pick your options on here. Nokia is still viable to this day. Next, let's dive into Blue. Blue, we're going to cover, like, just 2 decks because, really, let's be honest, when you get into it, Imperial Dramon didn't really gain anything in this set. This was a Garurumon X Antibody deck, and then you have Armor Rush X Antibody. So that was kind of like the main go-to. So, and then we can talk a little bit more about Jelly Force too. This gets a lot more support in itself. So we're going to talk about those 3 main decks in blue. So we're going to focus on cards you might want to grab. So Upamon is just straightly for, you know, Jelly Force or your Magnamon X Antibody stuff. So just think about that. Upamon's just kind of very versatile there. Or you could also go with Demi Vmon for your, you know, Imperial Dramon lists. Yes, I grabbed him because Imperial Dramon, but also viable in Vmons. If you're playing Vmon, why not have this card, in my opinion? Just viable as in itself. Tsunomon is just straight up for your Garurumon X Antibody list. You want to have this card because it just gives more power and it just applies more pressure. Vmon is for the X Antibody, Armor Rush stuff, and, you know, Imperial Dramon, stuff like that. But strictly focus, you will be playing it in the Armor deck. We also have Gabumon here. This one's just straight up more gas for your X Antibody Garurumon. So just keep that in mind. We kind of want to have this. So pick this up. Vmon's just straight up for your Armor Rush deck. Vmon Armor Rush. Jellymon here is just straight up for Jelly Force because you want to have Jelly Force in everything you want to do. So it's just your OTK credibility is widely brought up because of this Jellymon. And that's really awesome just to see that sometimes it's just the support that Just needs a little bit of more flavor, and it can just go explosions. Gabumon is in here while you have 8 or more cards in hand. This Digimon gets plus 1000 DP. Just straight up, this is from the starter deck. This does come in at 4 in that starter deck, so make sure you get your all-force Digimons starter deck. Make sure you pick it up. I highly recommend it. We also have Vmon in here, so if your opponent... This one is from the starter deck as well, but you only get 2 of them, so you need 4 starter decks just to get this card. So make sure you grab it at 4. Get your 2 starter decks, so that you can get your 4. So it is viable. It's going to be useful. Make sure you get it. And then Vmon here from starter deck 9. This card is revealing top 3, add 1 free. Just all X armor rush, that whole fun stuff. This Gurumon, if you're going to combo in and go this Gurumon plus this Gurumon for your X antibody list, you want to have those 2. If not, you don't worry about them. You kind of just push them off to the side and don't care. So this is just only if you are playing your X antibody list with this Metal Gurumon in it, then you need this one. If not, don't pick these 2 up and just push them off to the side. You grab every other thing with the Gurumon in its name. This one, same thing with Greymon. This is just an all-around great Gabumon. Digi-Evolution for 1 cost, And then, Gurumon's the inheritable all-turns. Just give them a little more beef so they can't just swing into it quite easily. Gurumon, if this Digimon has Gurumon in its name, trigger draw 1. This is pretty much your draw engine, especially since you're going to restand multiple swings ridiculously. You might want to pick this up. Digimon 0 is if you have a blue tamer, you may trash 3 cards from the top of your deck to give this Digimon 2000 DP for the turn. If you place 3 non-egg cards from your trash to the bottom of your deck in any order to draw a card, this is just basically Jelly Force support. This card is just straight up for the gas and getting more cards in hand. Lydramon is armor related, so is Flamedramon armor related, and then Magnamon is your heart and soul of the X antibody list. Because what's going to happen is you're going to warp from this Magnamon into the X, because if you even Digivolve on top of this, it gains the power boost for all your armors, and then it gives X even more power, and then if they purge it once, they have to deal with it twice. So it just gets really ridiculous because you have at least 2 block attacks going at your opponent's face. So just something to keep in the mind. Where Gurumon is when attacking, if you have a Gurumon as Digi-Evolution, unsuspend it. Just being able to unsuspend and have extra security checks, and with the added boost, sometimes you can get enough attacks in to really close out the game. Shikuyamon, I think this is just a good bridging gap card for your Magnamon, plus any other armor card, just so that you are in blue. So you have the yellow with Magna, and then you go into this, and then you can climb up that way too. Just something to think about, and just more control options for the deck. Something quite useful. I talked about Metal Gurumon. You combo with this Gurumon. This Metal Gurumon, you can practically be free under the right circumstances, and that's such a powerful bridge gap that you could win games ridiculously for your X antibody. Blitz Omni just closes out game and wins. This is just so you're not punished by OTK back. Ice Wall, just straight up, your opponent loses 2 memory. That just helps out. Blue Memory Burst searches for cards you need. You got Hammer Spark here to extend your plays. Rena is just for if you are playing Jelly Force All Force. And you make sure you pick up BT-09's All Force Digimon too. You need that card. Davis in here just being Davis, Blue's strongest tamer. Tai Kamiya is just for Jelly Force. Kyushiru. This dude just basically only for Jelly Force, and it gives you more benefits that way. Davis and Ken just straight up for armor and Imperial Dramon. So just all in all, great support, great stuff here. I think this is a good foundation of cards to pick up for blue. Make sure you grab them. Next, let's dive into yellow. Yellow has a lot of good cards, but mostly you're going to be seeing Yellow Hybrid as the go-to deck this format. You do have a possibility of going into security control or even just maxing into purple yellow with Mastemon. So just pick up the cards you see here. We got Cupimon being that draw for yellow. Same thing with Upamon, draw for yellow. You could also play Viximon. I forgot to grab her real quick. Let me grab her because she is actually quite useful under the right circumstances. And what I mean by that is if you play her in the deck related to security control, she's just a guaranteed draw when you use your options, which is important. Salamon's here, so if you have 3 or fewer security, draw 1. Just more draw advantage. Patamon, you know, when your opponent's Digimon is deleted, go to 0, gain 1 memory. You combo it with Rapidmon, and then you can just combo it even still. It's just a great rookie in general just because of what it can do. Kazemon's just in here to Digivolve on your Tamers. Yellow Hybrid, why not? Rise Greymon, if you're going Yellow Hybrid with Shine Greymon in it, it's a good bridger. That's kind of what you want to use it for. Magna Angemon is for security control plus the, you know, good stuff of Mastemon. So as long as you have that, you're good as gold. And then you have Holy Wave for recovery for the security control lists. Eden's Javelin, just another great yellow option. Kind of falls off the wavelength, but it's just a great option regardless. Tactical Retreat, just great for security control and even Yellow Hybrid. Reinforced Mem Boost, just straight up powerhouse card. It's good in Reaper. It's good in any yellow kind of base theme you want to go for. Use it to not lose it. Wyvern's Breath, minus 15,000. Just great powerful removal. Yellow Mem Boost, extends your play, searches out. Holy Flame helps just pretty much not dying from wide boards if you are facing wide board opponents very often. But it also helps you in the OTK matchup because if you can slam it down on the big boys, you're pretty solid there. We also have TK. We're going to say that TK is recovering your memory. And I just started to realize that I skipped over a whole bunch of crap. Rise Greymon, same thing as this one, is just for Shine Greymon combo shenanigans. Jet Sylphie recovering 1, just the most broken way of recovering. Angelwolmon, one of your opponent's Digimon get minus security attack 2. This is just for Mastemon. You're just going to play it there. This is for the Shine Yellow Hybrid. War Greymon, just another tech card that you could definitely use. Yellow Hybrid actually uses this card more because now you are in OTK format. They're going to promote things up from raising because they're going to wait it out. And if you can shut them down with a Shikuyamon, they're screwed because they have to remove Shikuyamon first if they're going to want to keep applying pressure. But as long as Shikuyamon's out on the board, they can't OTK you because they're minusing 3 security checks. And that's huge because they can't win if they can't hit you. Kazuchimon, this is for Shine stuff. Shizanomon is for Yellow Hybrid shenanigans. You're always going to play it. And then Blade of Truth is for, you know, the occasional security control stuff. You know, these tamers are usually for Yellow Hybrid, but they're also good in any yellow deck you're going to do. TK Kari, if you're lower, you're going to gain excess memory. Zoe's just Zoe. Cody's just Cody. We know the drill. Kari's just Kari. We're just going to deal with it, and your opponent has to answer all these problems. Now let's dive into green. We got Yokomon just for your Digiburst, because the only deck you're really going to play with green is green OTK. We're going to go into Grandis and just swipe the floor with our opponent and just call it a day. That's all we care about. Gummymon is just for draw. This gives extra boost if we don't have Palmon. Kawagamon is just in here for that extra security check, but can also be used to Digivolve for his counterpart. He got an X-Antibody version, so you can just Digivolve this, then Digivolve on top of that, just to get you more resources so you have more stuff to Digiburst out. So just keep that in mind. Terriermon to shut down any memory game shenanigans. Palmon for jamming. Roachmon just for a nice 1-cost evolve. Weedmon 1-cost evolve, but also gives you a gain of memory. Arbomon for game situations. Kabuterimon for a blocker, 1-cost evolves. Snymon, basically, if they hit it in security and it comes out and they don't have a way of answering it, it could win you the game. Just because it gives you another free body that you can climb into. Really important, just keep that in mind. Oquagamon, this is just basically another form, so you can at least, when this Digimon deletes an opponent's Digimon by battle and survives, gain a memory. Just all in all, great stuff there. Grand Quagga, security +1 and Digibursting. Samasatari, Basically, if this is hidden security, it just gives you another shot. Green memory boost, searches. Mimi is just Mimi. All powerhouse, all queen. Outside of that, we're going to dive into black. Black has 3 decks to talk about, and that's Black War Greymon. You have Alphamon, X Antibody, and then you have Dexmon Dexdurugurmon. That card is, there are 3 decks in this format you can definitely try out. And we also do have D-Brigade to talk about, because D-Brigade actually started seeing some competitive viability. So it's just something to keep in mind. We have Doraemon. This is just for your X Antibody stuff. This is Kyuyumon, X Antibody stuff. And let me grab the last black Digitama I think you should grab, because the best kind of talk is when you have all the cards in front of you. That makes it so that we need Pagumon. Pagumon is definitely another great choice to pick up. Toy Agumon, this is good for Black War Greymon. Really, that's all you're going to be using it for. The Commandramon line, we already know this is just going to be straight up for Commandramons. So you want to pick these up. Definitely get anything that's related to them. Pick it up so you can just apply pressure that way. Chichurimon, de-digivolving one of your opponent's Digimon, especially when they're trying to OTK you, can definitely survive you the turn, because now they're not on their big boss, and now that might mean one less check that you're dealing with or anything like that. So just keep that in mind. Durumon, this is for X Antibody. Both decks play it. Agumon's for the Black War Greymon deck. Raidutamon is basically both Durumon's decks. Sunrizamon is basically for the X Antibody list for the OTK possibilities. Commandramon's just Commandramon support. Greymon's here for the X for Gaiomon. Giving it, because it has reboot naturally, giving it jamming for the extra security checks with Blitz is really nasty. Sealdramon just for Commandramon shenanigans. Grumblemon, just Digivolve on top of Tamer, win game. Just all that fun, good stuff. Darugamon, X Antibody stuff. Greymon's just Greymon, just for your Black War Greymon. Cyclomon, Black War Greymon. Duragreymon, your X Antibody stuff. It's played in both lists. Hisurumon is only played in the Alphamon version of X Antibody, so just keep that in mind. Metal Greymon's just in here for that DDG Evolution and for your Black War Greymon Gaio deck. Dark Dramon is just straight up Commandramon stuff, so if you're playing Commandramon, pick up your Commandramon stuff. Alphamon's being Alphamon. Might see less play because its other counterpart is just slightly better in certain circumstances. Duragurumon is just straight up for its deck's counterpart. Orumon is basically just for your Alphamon plays. Black War Greymon's just straight up for Black War Greymon's shenanigans. Iron Fist Onslaught, blow up board states. Elrizuri, blah, blah, blah. This card is just straight up X Antibody support. Black Memboost helps searches in all your decks. Except for the Black War Greymon, I wouldn't use it much. I would use red, just because you do play a more heavy red base. Outside of that, just play what you think is right. Izzy's just straight up great tamer for your Commandramons. Just, that's what I would just suggest there. Izzy Joe, just straight up gas for your Commandramons. This is for X Antibody, both decks. Both decks, Yuji is X Antibody. And then Kazu is definitely just for your Commandramons. So just keep that in mind. Yes, Justimon is a deck, but it's just not seeing competitively play here. So just keep that in mind. Make sure you want to pick that up. Next, let's talk about it. We have Mastemon and I would just say Beelzemon decks. And then a little bit of security control in the mix, because Junomon is kind of used in that with Creepymon too. Creepymon's a mill deck still, and that can still see competitive play because it wasn't really adapted in Japan. We kind of made it more of our own thing just to mill our opponent out, so it's just something to think about. Debbie Miramon for draw, great purple card. This is for Mass Day. This card is just straight up for Impmon. Impmon trashing 3 cards. You know, this is for Beelzemon. Gabumon just being Gabumon, drawing new cards. I mean, Tapirmon drawing new cards. I mean, this is for also Beelza Star. I forgot that that's a list too. We actually play this because you gain the blue Gabumon X antibody that you can Digivolve on top of this with, because it's not, the keyword is a Gabumon, and that's not color restricted. It's any Gabumon, so you can just bridge into weird color variants. It's really interesting. Tapirmon just for helping draw advantage, and that's usually for Beelza Star. Gazemon, just Gazemon, perfect, and Psychmon is just the same thing. They're both counters the heavier played decks. They help out and just negate some of the issues you have. Itmon's just, you may trash one card from your hand. If you do, return one Digimon card with 7 Great Lords or 3 Musketeers in its stripes from your trash to your hand. Just straight up doing your shenanigans. It's played in Beelza Star, Beelzamon, and if you have Creepymon, you might want to tech it in as a 1-of or something. Itmon's just being Itmon. This helps with the Beelza Star decks, Beelzamon deck that mills, and, you know, you can't hate it. Scatter Mode's just really good in Bella Star and Beelzamon. Just helps you filter and get your stuff going. Loemon, just for the Digimon hybrid for game, usually for Beelza Star and Beelzamon. All in all, good stuff. Ogremon's just in here for Creepymon deck. Dobermon's just being Dobermon. You know, helps mill faster, get you going. Black Gato is just for Mass Day. Gatomon is for Mass Day as well. Lucimon's Mass Day. You can play it in Beelzamon. You can play it in Bella Star. You can play it in a lot of decks. He's a really powerful Digimon that just gets rid of things that you don't like. We already talked about Angelwomon for Mass Day. Beelzamon is just straight up for our Beelzamon deck. Beelza Star is just in here to be her own deck. Very powerful control deck. Does have a little bit of issues, but outside of that, you're pretty solid. We got Creepymon milling you out for his own deck. Beelzamon being Beelzamon. Junomon being Junomon just for security control reasons. Fall Down Mode, great for Mass Day, but you do also have, what's her name? Odinimon as your level 7 now. So just keep that in mind. Mass Daymon's just Mass Daymon. It's just its deck in itself. Blastmon's just to go further. Jack Raid. Fly Bullet. Why not? Blow things up. Just for Beelza Star. Calling from Darkness. If you're playing purple, you play this card. Zwart Laginger. This is for security control. Really, that's about it. Miss Memory Boost. This is to help Beelzamon out. Death Slinger, Beelzamon there. Purple Memory Boost helps with Mass Day. Darkness Wave helps with Beelza Star and Junomon. So it's just one of those things. So, I mean, hey, it's just what you want to do, right? Death Claw, delete one of your opponent's Digimon to delete one of your opponent's level 4 or lowers. Nailbone, I mean, why not? This is just for Beelza Star. Hell Flame Scythe, Security Control, and Mass Day. Chaos Degradation is Mass Day and Security Control. Kari, Security Control. And if you think so, you can tech it in a lot of decks just because if they're hitting you enough, you could pass turn that way. You never know. And I am Mako, just for your Beelzamon. And now let's go to the white cards in the format. Cards you should grab here. Digimon Emperor, this really does help out, actually. If your opponent is applying to move up sooner, they might not be able to now just because you prevent them with the rookie issues. So Digimon Emperor just can choke them and force them. But when one of your opponent's opponent's level 4 or lower is deleted, you may level 5 or lower is deleted, draw a card. Just very powerful. Win rate 60%. And this does help out in Black War Greymon. Something to think about. You might want to pick that up. And then Zort Defeat. It's still good, but it's going to see slower with Death Xmon. Just something to think about. So guys, hopefully you enjoyed the video. Let me know down in the comments, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace!